What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 9 of the Overview. I'm ChanManV, and look who's back with us today. Actually, both Shayed, who was out sick last week, and Jason Kaplan returns to fill in for our co-host, I guess our missing co-host, Fish Sticks, who happens to be a little bit busy today, too.
Ex-co-host.
Ex-co-host. Not ex-co-host. But definitely great to have you back, man. And Shayed, are you feeling better this week?
Yes.
Yes.
I was sick for like the whole week last week. It sucked.
I know. It sounded like you were just like miserable like the entire week. Where are you laughing, dude? Come on.
What happened?
What's going on with you?
You know why I'm laughing, Shannon. You know why I'm laughing.
God, he says. All right, so Overwatch this week. Lots actually to talk about. Actually, there wasn't as much to talk about until 24 hours ago. It's just, the butt that launched 1,000 or 2,000 upvotes like happened. So we'll be talking about the patch, of course, that happened right after the show last week. I swear the patch comes literally out the night of the show. And then we'll talk about the whole Tracer butt topic, which we'll be calling Buttgate, at least for now on the show. And then we'll talk about some of the competitive events and do the recap like we always do, talk about what meta that we saw this week, take some questions from you guys. Please tweet those questions to at ChanManV or the Overview GG, and we'll take those at the end of the show. Okay, so let's start off let's talk about the patches. Let's talk about the patch that happened. It was actually a pretty big patch. Didn't have much meta involved in it, except for the Zenyatta change, but let me bring it up real quick. But lots of things like new map. We have this whole weekly brawl thing. I guess let's start with the map. What do you guys think of the new map? It's a payload map, Route 66. Shayed, any thoughts on the new map?
It's my favorite map in the game.
Really? Awesome. Let me show it real
Yep,
quick too.
I love it. It actually feels balanced on both sides. Like, I don't hate attacking and I don't hate defense. And there isn't really any part of the map where I feel like it favors one or the other necessarily. I like to play it a little bit more, but so far my initial reaction is I love it. It's amazing. The music is awesome.
Yeah, the music is awesome.
McCree's home. But yeah, I don't have any problems with it at all. I think it's awesome. Really good job.
Jason, how about you?
It's all right.
It's all right. I knew that he was going to come up with that kind of.
No, I mean,
he's just going to say the exact opposite of whatever I say about it.
Exactly. He's going to be trolled today.
I think it's my job to disagree as much as I possibly can with Shayed. But no, it's a good map. I like it. Reminds me a lot of CP Badlands from TF2, which is always cool. Really fun. Not really seeing too much competitive aspects. Obviously, Ghost Gamers has played it, but I haven't had the opportunity yet to cast any maps on it yet. But it's nice. It's nice. I think Shayed kind of hit the nail on the head. At the moment, it's a map you enjoy attacking and defending on just because of how it looks and all the different avenues to flank teams.
Yeah. Would you think the chokes are too thin, or I like the multiple levels. There's like a ton of places where you can stand on the bridge and shoot down, and you can go into tunnels and fight on the ground too. But the chokes do those make for really good competitive moments and just like big huge team fights there?
It's just very similar to Hollywood, where you have. I'm trying to think. There's any other maps kind of similar to it. Like Kings Row definitely isn't. But you have an area in the beginning that's just there's not really too much high ground to use. It's kind of coming down to these like big brawls, and then you have the second portion which you were just showing, where there's a lot of buildings you can stand on top of. A lot of use of Widowmaker, Fair if you can get on the high end of that if you can dodge enemy Widowmaker. And I know the game kind of separates at a certain point into two different levels of the map. Then the ending is just very reminiscent of like Kings Row, but it has a lot of mixed aspects from different maps. I like, but the whole feel of the map is really cool. Like the train wreck, the bridge being destroyed, and then the end as well. It's just kind of like pseudo futuristic. It's really well made, I think.
So, am I the only person that when they first mentioned this map and they said Route 66? My first thought was Cars, the movie. When they're going down Route 66. Did anybody else think that, or was it just me?
I mean, I immediately turned on the song "Life Is a Highway" like within 2 seconds.
Okay, I was just making sure I wasn't the only person because
I think the only complaint I actually have about the map is that it feels short. Like the last checkpoint from that point to until the end feels like it goes by really fast.
That is true.
But it's funny because I didn't think about cars really when I first saw it. I just thought of home, because in Germany you don't have anything reminiscent of that. It made me feel like I was back in Arkansas.
Oh, you're from Arkansas?
On the, Yeah. Well, yeah.
And that's a big change.
That
explains
Arkansas, California. No, but yeah, I didn't really think of that. I just thought of like it's refreshing. It's like a new scenery, just area of the world to play in.
Yeah, the artwork, especially when you kind of look into like the canyon area near the start point, is pretty amazing. So the artist definitely gone another step beyond. I thought they couldn't do better than like Nepal, because I thought Nepal is probably the most beautiful map they can make, but this one's right up there with a lot of the aesthetics. Okay, well, let's move on to Weekly Brawl. So this is a completely new, not just competitive game mode, but a game mode to the actual just Overwatch itself. And this is reminiscent of what they've done in Hearthstone with weekly tavern brawls. Have you guys gotten a chance to try a bunch of these? I mean, there's like, I think somebody posted like 16 of them. Here we go. We're going to list all of them. And they've been kind of cycling through them pretty quickly recently. But which ones have you guys played, and what do you guys think of it so far? Jason,
I've done all of them except for the cooldown one and the Fair Mercy one, which is probably surprising that I haven't done the Fair Mercy one.
Exactly, right?
But I didn't get a chance to do it when it was out, so...
They just need
all the other ones that I played were like the McCree headshot only one, which was out today, and like the Soldier 76 one with 100 HP that I played yesterday, and I didn't really like either of them. Like,
the McCree one's
okay. My aim is terrible. My aim is literally terrible. It's the worst thing ever. So like putting me in a mode where I only can do damage with headshots and I have to play McCree, like, not a good time. And
be honest, how many kills
did
you get in that game?
Two.
That's not bad,
actually. Two?
And 4% weapon accuracy.
Well, that's.
But every shot that I did land was a kill. So.
That's pretty much how it goes, though, in that mode. I mean.
Yeah, and then like in the Soldier 76 one, it just like was more frustrating than anything to walk around a corner and just get one shot by rockets. Like Helix rockets, just dead.
Jason, how many did you play?
I'm kind of told. Oh, I played two, actually. Only two. I played the Genji Hanzo one.
Yeah, the Shimano.
And I played the McCree one, which I absolutely wrecked on. I was quite proud of myself. I got like 3 kills, so yes, one up.
3? Okay, no, I mean, that's better than me.
No,
too.
it's the thing is,
pick a number that's one more than whatever I got.
Yeah, I actually got more than 3, and I got to play the game. I just didn't want to brag, you know. No, but okay, so this is the good and bad side of the weekly brawl. Good side is you get like a refreshing game mode to play, once a week or currently once a day. The downside is you play one game, then you're kind of done.
Yeah, that's
it's not something you play, throughout the entire week. It's not like League of Legends where you had Earth mode, Ultra Rapid Fire mode, I believe it was called, where cooldowns were like instant and you got gold quicker, so it was just constant battling. It was really fun. It was really engaging. But when I say that, there's a couple of game modes that might be a little bit boring. But I'm sure as hell in the near future, there'll be some game modes that actually be really exciting. Like I would look forward, if I didn't actually see the cooldown one, that would have been a little bit interesting for me to try. Or like, I don't know, like any potential changes since they have all these different things and features they can do in the game. The headshot mode I actually really enjoy. I talked to some pros and they were doing like some one-on-one battles and putting headshot on only. It helps quite a bit. In Counter-Strike Go, you have headshot only deathmatch.
Yeah.
It can actually teach you to play a lot better. It's just really frustrating, I guess, as a new player to go into that and be like, well, why can't I kill anyone? I had a couple people actually say that in the game, like, why is there all McCrees or whatever? But I think on the long run it'll be good. But at the moment, it's just kind of you play one and you're done. But I guarantee there'll be modes that will be released that people will be like, I want to keep playing and keep playing and keep playing.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. The thing I love about Weekly Brawl, and it's something that was a bit similar. I guess it serves a different purpose in Hearthstone, but the one thing I do like about it in Overwatch is that it allows for Blizzard as well as I think just generally the community to see different game formats. To see different possible competitive formats. A lot of these that we're seeing right now are definitely more fun and things like that, but they could add some things. I mean, there are things that are just offensive only ones. Like there's one right here that's highly offensive, all offensive heroes, limited to 2 per team. I mean, you could definitely see some events, possibly popping up from some of these game modes that they come up with, or
I got one.
You got one?
Best game mode ever.
Okay, what is it?
Everything's random. You spawn as a random hero who has random abilities and random passives.
Oh, what?
Can you imagine what the victory screen for that would look
That's
like?
ridiculous.
Dude, it'd be awesome. Like, would it be awesome to be Bastion who can put down another turret and also like dash around like Tracer? Like,
you would
just
never
mix
die.
literally everything
Like, please
together.
don't kill me. I just want
Like,
to stay alive, so I
That
can
would
do
be
this all day.
that would be awesome, just to be able to like where you die and you randomly come back as like a new hero, like Reinhardt, who has the Diva Fly, but he
A
also
Tracer
has
with arrow rockets.
yeah, exactly. That would be
my
sick, right? Like a Tracer who can
Wow.
like zip around and fly as well. Like that'd be really cool. And I guarantee that's a game mode that people would play for weeks.
Yeah.
Like I would nonstop play that game mode just because of how hilarious it can be. Like
I mean,
just mixing abilities together, like one Reinhardt and one Torbjorn. All right, you're a tank who has a shield. You can put turrets down, and you can drop armor packs, and you can put symmetric turrets down. I don't know.
it sounds fantastic. I just think that's probably really hard to do, though.
I feel like the end game victory screen would just be like a collage of different character bodies because the game would just not know
it'd be
like,
those funny
what you
morph.
actually.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
like, what are you? Like,
We already get those sometimes. Might as well
Yeah.
actually make it a consistent thing.
I can see my victory pose now. I'm just a Tracer's pulse bomb, just on the ground or floating.
Can you imagine Tracer as a Winston or
that's what they're
Winston is
replacing the
Tracer?
victory pose with.
Oh my god, it'd be amazing.
I'm trying to think of like the stupidest one ever.
Of course.
Like
yeah.
a Widowmaker who has a Hanzo scatter shot, so you can snipe someone, but it scatters as well.
That would be terrible.
I don't know.
It'd just be so bad.
Yeah, that would be pretty crazy.
Unless you're like gonna body shot someone on purpose and not kill them, in which case it could be like kind of funny. But
And the
if you're
thing
gonna
is,
just
like,
headshot someone.
with the game mode, it's supposed to be a really relaxed, like just kind of chill playthrough kind of thing. It's not like super competitive. It's not like you're trying to push the payload or capture the points. It's just about having fun.
Yeah,
So
but
if you do these, funny, weird game modes like McCree headshot only, you're not trying to win. You're literally just trying to work on your aim and have fun.
I mean, it's definitely.
That's the one that I want. Show your support. Bring that next time, please.
Oh, you haven't seen
Let's
that
do
one
that
yet?
next
Yeah,
day.
yeah, that one's.
What's
where is
that
it?
one
Where is
again?
it? Sure.
All
Only
supports?
support 2 of each.
Oh.
Max 2 of each.
There's girl
Oh,
power
man.
too. I haven't seen that one yet. Female heroes only. Sorry, boys. That's so
Oh,
sexist.
they need
So
to remove that from
sexist.
the game.
It's crazy. No, but they could
What
even
was
add
the
capture the
last one
flag.
there? Scroll down
It'd be interesting to see even just like
Mobile Watch?
CTF here. Yeah, Mobile Watch.
No,
Unique heroes.
you
man.
don't do that one.
So it's like hero limit, and you can't switch heroes.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
see
you can't
that game format is a perfect example. I mean, that's a legit format for people to evaluate. Even from an event organizer standpoint. So I think they're going to be sprinkling some in. I could see a capture the flag in here one of these weeks, or
I could talk for days about how capture the flag could be epic as hell.
right, exactly.
Game mode.
So, anyways,
Literally
really good
days.
idea. I was
Literally
really
days.
surprised. I was really surprised that they added this. So this is amazing.
I hope they do some like community ones as well, like or open to suggestions. Like I understand they could be really hard to code or really hard to like physically work, like the whole randomizer, but
Right.
it's all about the innovation. You want to have like these new fun crazy game modes, and some sort of reward as well would help a little bit. I don't know,
Yeah.
like maybe you get like double XP for like the first game played of a weekly brawl, or
Yeah, I think that's a good
I
idea.
don't know, something just to get people playing it to enjoy it.
Hearthstone, they always give you a pack, like for playing it once
Right,
every
right.
week. So something equivalent to that would definitely be good. But this is targeted at the casual folks, right? This is targeted just to give the casual folks a little bit change of pace, and maybe even some folks first
It's a
getting
fun
into the
thing
game.
to start stream with, but after that, you're just like,
Yeah, yeah.
meh.
Okay, highlights. So they're giving us our own play of the game little archive here with highlights. What do you think of it so far? Like you guys find yourself going back and looking at it when you guys don't get play the game?
All the time. I love seeing my Battle
Yes.
Mercy highlight intro.
Battle Mercy highlight intro, yes. I think I saw you guys go all Mercy a few times now.
That was amazing. That was the
I
best
saw
game
that.
I've ever played in my life.
In fact, I think my son was watching it, and he was like, come watch. Seagull and Shayed are playing all Mercy. And I'm like, oh. Okay. So I
It was
think I
amazing.
watched
It
that.
was so good.
Jason, how about you? You been looking at your own highlights?
Like twice?
Twice.
I don't. It's just
Okay.
like.
All right.
I don't know. I mean, I'd rather watch like a full replay back. Like in StarCraft, how every game you
Well,
play is
yeah.
like saved. I'd rather watch that. But I mean, the highlights, it's nice if you like wanted to record something and you accidentally didn't, so you can like go back and watch it. But I don't know. Instead of watching my highlight, I'd rather just go play another game. But I can see what they're doing with it in the long run.
Yeah, I think just generally people that the play of the game we're about to talk about in a second, but the algorithm's obviously not the best, or just to be nice, I guess. But a lot of people miss out on really really great plays, and it's nice for them to be able to see it. A lot of people, I know I've been there. It's just like, oh, I definitely got play of the game. There's no way I didn't get play of the game this time. And then of course it's some Widowmaker that snipes a person just dropping from just a single person dropping from the air, and that's play of the game.
It's like the most frustrating part of that for me was like getting off like a 4 or 5 man res and then healing everybody to keep them alive, and then just watching a play of the game be like a Widowmaker that just sniped one person and then maybe like body shot someone else. I'm like, really?
That
happened?
You know what the most
that just happened?
So
like,
go ahead.
To be fair, like you'd have to imagine how damn difficult it is to code something like that to show a play of the game. Like that's not easy at all.
No,
and to like take into different account different things like, oh, like my Widowmaker, I did like a slingshot, jumped into the air, I got a headshot on someone, did a 360 no scope as well, and killed someone. Like measuring that in a coding way to like for the game to recognize, oh, that was a really good play or a really crucial play at a certain point in the game is really difficult to do. But I think
I don't necessarily think that's true though, because you could actually just make burst healing over a short period of time count for more like play of the game points or whatever they make it in the code, like whatever they're making it in the game. Whatever qualifies something to be a play of the game, make like burst healing over a short period of time worth more than that.
So then Zenyatta always has play. Isn't that what we had though?
No, I'm not saying make it worth like an extreme amount, like make it worth more than DPS or anything like that. Just increase its current value by a little bit.
Well, in some ways, I think it actually should be more
Zenyatta
than
ults did
DPS.
get play of the game all the time before, but that wasn't because of his burst healing. It was because of his ability to garner assists and kills over a short period of time. It wasn't necessarily because of his ult and like healing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, there was a time where his healing was a pretty big part. I mean, they've made little changes along the ways, I think, like not like a major one like they did here. And I remember there was a time, like when you were playing a ton of Zen. Remember when we first started playing together? Like we would see that Zen ult get play of the game a lot. Like it wasn't even, a lot of your DPS that was getting it. So I feel like there was a time where.
Well, it's a combination of it's like a combination of. I probably had Discord orb on someone. I also probably had Harmony orb on someone, and then I ulted the entire team, and then that would result in like play of the game.
Yeah.
So that kind of actually makes sense because it is a play of the game. That is a game-changing moment where like I healed my entire team to full with my ult, kept everyone from dying, and then also contributed to like getting a kill at the same time. So like that is a play of the game moment, and I think that's what it should. I think that's what play of the game should be. It should be a moment in the game where you turned the tide of the game because it was something that you did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that.
Which it doesn't really feel like that right now. It's like, Widowmaker getting a headshot and a body shot. Like, that didn't really, like, good for her. They were probably good shots, but it's not like a game-changing moment that altered the entire outcome.
I think she's the character that I feel like has the worst play of the games consistently right now. I can't say I've seen a lot of other ones. I don't know, Jason.
I think it's because of her headshot. I think it's, yeah.
You
think it's because of her like one-shot headshot ability, where it's just like that counts as so much damage like in a single burst. And the game just recognizes it as like, oh yeah, I'm doing 1 million damage, but she's really not. It's like
I've like only ever seen sharpshooter play the games now. They classify them high score, lifesaver, sharpshooter, shutdown. I only see sharpshooter. I don't think I've ever seen any of the others.
Oh, I still see the. I think I see shutdown sometimes. Lifesaver, I never see.
I see sharpshooter a lot.
Yeah, sharpshooter is by far the most, but I do see shutdown sometimes. High score, I think I've maybe seen once or twice. Lifesaver, I've never seen, which sucks.
Like shutdown, the categories that tend to feature moments in which one player kills another player or players right as they were about to do something particularly impactful. An example of this would be if a Widowmaker snipes a Lucio in the middle, casting sound barrier for his team. In this instance, the game will predict how impactful that sound barrier would have been, and then award the Widowmaker player an appropriate shutdown score in return. Right. But like Mercy, you can't do that. You can't shut down a Mercy because her res is instant. You can't kill her right before she reses because how would the game determine that Mercy would hit her ultimate right then? I don't know. It's very tricky, I think, in the way it's worded at the moment to kind of show it in the game. I don't know. I like how different categories though. It'd be cool if like maybe
I think that does work on multiple
of
occasions though. Like Lucio Sound Barrier getting canceled right before, like he actually.
It's pretty rare. Yeah, I mean it's not
like
very easy to pull off. Yeah.
Or Feral. It's mostly offensive heroes, I think, that are really affected by that.
It is, but you know, a lot of times when you do shut down, it doesn't look impressive though. And I think that's the thing with play of the game. It's always visually looked, well, supposed to visually look really, really impressive with a lot of the offensive alts and I think I think a lot of people are getting used to just having other support characters and other characters getting play of the game, but I still think that has to be evident why it's play of the game, and if it's not very easily, then that's a problem. And whether it's fair or not, like I still think play of the game needs to look amazing, especially if we're going to use it in production. I don't know if the plan, the future is for event organizers to actually use the built-in play of the game or not, or just kind of do their own.
Probably
but
not. I would imagine.
What, not use play of the game, or yeah?
You can't really tell the story that you're trying to tell with the play of the game normally.
Yeah, it's
like
unpredictable.
Having a hyper deck,
right?
Like having a hyper deck that records the stream live or what you're broadcasting out live, and then be able to go back to and be like, all right, let's go back to this moment in the game, and then we can talk about a little bit more, go back to that moment. The only downside to that is you can't get necessarily the camera angle you want for it, like first person or free cam, which kind of comes down to wherever the observer was at the right time. That'd be cool if they actually if they could, I don't know, in Buttgate, I wouldn't mind having 4 play of the games to watch or 2 play of the games to watch because there's so much lull in between. You know, waiting for the next game to start. I don't really care about my individual stats as much as I care about seeing some cool plays.
That's a good point.
I can see them actually. I can see them actually going a really different direction with play of the game from like an esports perspective. If Blizzard decides to do anything, kind of like, how at the end of an LCS game, they do like some analytical time where they take certain plays from the game and they go over it and they explain like what happened and why it happened and like what could have been done differently to change that from happening. I can see that being a thing kind of in Overwatch competitive play if there's multiple different angles being captured but not necessarily broadcasted when the game's going on. So like if Blizzard through their production team has people like multiple spectators in the game but not all of those spectator views are being shown. It's like an overhead and like maybe one person's watching like a couple people on one team and then there's another person spectating just only one other person, and then you can literally capture everything and then they can decide kind of in between games what they want to post as like their play of the game. It's
so specific to esports too. I'd be surprised if they do that.
A replay feature, because that's exactly what League does, where they leave one client in. They leave one client in the server, and then they have like the analyst watching, like timeout. Okay, 23 minutes in, I want to go back and see that fight, and I want to follow this player up for 10 seconds and follow that player for 10 seconds, and they literally just play it out again with the second observer who's helping with the show, doing all that for the observer or for the analyst. Like a replay would be easy, just open it back up, go to an analysis desk, they give all this stuff to the production crew, like this is the times I want to see, and then just talk from there. Like replay feature would solve all those problems.
Yeah,
you wouldn't need to play the game for that.
I mean, it would be even great for just your general content maker too, like YouTube maker.
I would like to see them replace highlights with replays. That would be nice.
I'd be cool with that. I'd honestly be completely cool with that. Okay, well, let's keep going here. Player progression. So they added the whole achievement things. For the most part, they haven't had any impact in my. I barely even look at them. They show up in a really weird spot for me. I don't know exactly why I don't love the box and how they appear, but there's something very odd to me, and I don't know why. I think they could still be better as to how they show them. But generally, what are your thoughts on achievements? Like, do you guys even pay attention to them or have been keeping track of them?
Oh, I've been going achievement hunting.
Yeah, I know you have. I saw your tweets about Mercy, so that's cool.
Oh, I'm so mad.
the Mercy doesn't have
50.
50. Yeah.
She has 46.
She's the only one that I would want to collect literally everything for, and I can't. She doesn't have 50 things to collect. What do I do?
Game's broken, boys.
The game's broken. New patch coming. New patch just for Mercy. I don't know, Jason, what do you think?
Like, I'm
it
not,
depends on the person. I mean, I guess, but
if I were to get like a reward that's worth it, I guess the sprays can be. Then it'd be cool. But like in Diablo 3, you have achievements for every season you play, and then if you like fulfill those achievements, then you get like a pet or you get like a new portrait outline or etc. etc. Maybe it was that kind of level, but a spray, I'm just kind of like, I forget to spray half the time anyways. And plus, if it has to do with anything in
That's
game,
the most important part.
like, this is something Blizzard talked about. They don't want like an unlock feature because they don't want someone playing Bastion because I'm one game away from unlocking this next achievement, or I'm one game away from unlocking this next skin.
That's not what the current
But
achievements
that's exactly
are,
what
though.
this is.
No, it's not. All of
Zarya getting like a
every single
6-man
game.
ultimate. You're gonna play Zenyatta the whole time trying to get that. Yeah, 6-man ultimate.
Yeah, but in a single game.
So
It's
then
not
I'll
like, I need to play one more game of Zenyatta so I can get this achievement. No, you have to get that within the one game.
It's the same
Like,
thing
you only
as
have
like
that one opportunity.
it's not absolute, but generally they'll still be playing that player. You know, they'll still be playing that character until they do achieve it in one game, right? So
that's
it
like
does
you
influence.
like wanting to get every Mercy or every Mercy achievement, and you won't stop playing Mercy until you get the
That's right.
achievement, even if
That's
Mercy's
right.
But that's not a
absolutely
detrimental thing to your team. Like,
It
I don't
can
know
be.
if there's
That's-
a single.
It does affect the fundamental choice, right, in the very beginning. Or if they want people to have a diverse. I mean, I guess people could just leave games. You know what I mean? Like if you do end up running into a game that has multiple mercies or somebody that's trying to do the same thing, then you can just leave and just join a different one, I guess. But not the best user experience.
Then you get lever penalty.
Then you get lever penalty. That's true. We'll talk about.
I don't really feel like there's certain heroes that are definitely circumstantial and like not really great on like certain parts of maps or like certain maps in general, but like I can't really think of a situation where like, I'm gonna play offensive Bastion and I'm gonna cost my team the game. Like,
Okay, so here's an example. Diva, don't you have an achievement for like 6-man ulting or something like that? So then I'll play Diva, and I'm literally never gonna ult until I can potentially get all 6, which could lead to us losing. I mean, that's just an example of like how they can be detrimental. It's extreme, but it's still a potential thing. Like if you have someone who's an achievement hunter, then that can happen.
But that's someone who like, did they already not care about winning at that point? Because if you're willing to actually lose a game to get an achievement, then that's an entirely different problem. Like, that's not like an achievement-based problem. That's like a how do we get people to want to win problem.
Well, yes, but you can design achievements that don't, encourage that type of behavior. I mean, it is possible.
I mean, they can make the achievements easier because honestly, some of them are a little bit extreme.
Some of them are, but I mean, there are a ton of easy ones. There are a ton of easy ones too, right? I mean, there.
Yeah, like I got the first Mercy one, like literally the first game after the achievements came out. It was like heal 5 people on your team for 200 HP without dying. It's like
there's something to be said with having too many easy ones too. I mean, they need to feel like they are achievements, not just like tokens for just playing the game. Period. I don't know. I think that having hard ones is okay. I think. If it does, I mean, you have to see what kind of behavior the population is going to have. I don't think it's a problem, actually. I don't think it's a problem having these kind of difficult achievements and having people playing these a lot, because everybody's going to have a different everybody has different tastes in what characters they like.
Well, and the thing is about the really hard ones, like a Diva 6-man or Zarya 6-man, typically you'll get those when you're playing with a group and they're helping you try to get it. So it's not really a big problem. But it kind of goes against what they said in pubs, if you have people doing it, about not wanting to make it so people won't switch off a hero because they want to get achievement or unlock.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Okay, let's see. So leaving penalty. So joining and leaving. So there's this whole thing about joining and leaving games section of the patch here. And I've actually had somebody have issues with the lever penalty already, and it was it mostly had to do with like internet connections, and I don't think that's supposed to play into it, but he ended up in that state where you temporarily you're deemed a lever, and then you just receive less XP. And I think it lasted like somewhere around 8 to 10 games for him. So that's kind of crappy when that happens accidentally.
Yeah, I was talking to Enigma about it yesterday, and he said that he thinks it's time based, not game based. It's like a 24-hour period or something like that.
Yeah, I'm wondering it might be shorter, but 24 hours is definitely the max end of it. I would think.
Yeah.
Generally, I kind of understand. I mean, it's like that. What?
Jason's like, no.
I know someone who got or is still globally muted from the game.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Muted?
Wait, muted.
Yeah, he's
wait,
globally muted. Actually, that's due
What do
to
you mean
me.
by
I'm not
muted?
leaving. Never mind.
yeah,
that's
that's not lever penalty.
I got off topic.
Okay. Muted in the game? Really? Wow.
Jason's like chuckling over there about something that we're not
It's
even
like,
talking
sucker.
about. Like,
yeah.
what?
No, but lever penalty, this is something that we see in other games like League of Legends. Generally, you guys like this? I mean, have you seen it? Has this been a problem?
I
with
do.
any of you
I think
guys?
it's just. I think it's happening in custom games for some of the competitive teams.
Oh,
Like
really?
if they leave a game before
Yeah, but
like the play of the game actually happens, I think it's been affected. 'Cause I think that's how
I
Enigma
see
got
what you mean.
his.
Okay, so that's like
Mhm.
like wrongful. Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like they didn't mean for it to have like they're just leaving the game because the timer like is up, or like they didn't win and it's not
Yeah,
purposeful.
got it,
Like
got it. That's that's not
I
right.
think it's
That's
happening,
definitely not
I'm
right.
pretty sure.
Yeah, that's.
I don't think it's really that big of an idea, big of a thing. Like,
You gotta get the loot boxes, Jason.
no, like,
No.
so if you're doing matchmaking or ranked, whenever that comes out, knock on wood, you're gonna go into it knowing that you're not supposed to leave and that you will be penalized if you leave. And Counter-Strike UQ, it says be prepared to play for 90 minutes. If you don't, be prepared for a penalty. League of Legends, same thing. Like when it's matchmaking, completely understand it. But like casual games, like, all right, well, I was enjoying this game, but my cat's on fire. I have to go take care of it. Or, oh, I'm just not really feeling this game. I just want to go relax instead. Like, I don't know. I mean, for matchmaking, 100%, leaving games, you should penalize. Casual games, it's just about having fun. It's not about necessarily winning. So I don't.
They do
find
a
it
decent
that
job
big
of
of a deal,
filling. They
or
do
it
a different
shouldn't
job.
be-
They do a decent job of backfilling too. So.
You shouldn't be
But
penalized
then that's
that
another
much,
problem
I think,
on
or
top
as
of that
easily.
is like
I agree with that.
you leave a game and then someone else gets put into the game, but the game that you left is already like 10 seconds before ending. So like I know they put in a system where if you join a game late, then you get like extra XP for finishing it, and it like doesn't count as a loss or whatever. But it's not fun. Like I've had that happen to me where I joined a game where there's like literally 10 seconds left, or like the payload is going into the checkpoint before I even have my character picked. It's like.
Yeah, and that's when people tend to leave, right?
Okay.
They GG literally 20 seconds before the end of the game, and you join one. Yeah, that definitely is not a great experience, but I think adding this stuff is good. Them taking into account for folks that may be trying to grief folks, I don't know, in some way is a good preventative thing.
Well, I think for casual players, at least, like, when ranked comes out, there's going to be the entire thing of if you finish a game, like, and you win, you get, a certain amount of ranked points or whatever they decide to call it.
Right.
But, like, as of right now, even if you win a game, you get XP, which is like, okay, I need to play, like, 25 games to get enough XP before I can level and get a loot box. And, like, for casual players, that's the thing, right? Like, it's the loot box at the end of the rainbow.
It is.
So I think that, if they added it so at the end of a game, whether you win or you lose, you get like credits or something like that and XP, then that might encourage people. Like even if you're losing, maybe you get less credits than if you won the game. You get 10 credits if you win, 5 if you lose. I think that would keep people like from wanting to leave the game all the time if they're losing. It's like, oh, even if I lose, I still get a small amount of XP and a
that's
small
not a bad
amount of
idea.
credits.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. It kind of matched Hearthstone. You get like a little bit every time you win. So even if you got a little bit when you lost, that would be a good motivation. All right, let's see.
I mean, Hearthstone had quests too, right?
Yeah, they have quests
There was
too,
that.
which I mean that's like a whole separate thing. That would be more along the lines of what Jason doesn't, or Jason said that they don't like, which is encouraging
want,
folks
yeah.
to play certain characters X number of times. But you could do just X number of games daily. They could just have a daily, just win 5
Like,
games
play
each
8
day.
games,
Yeah,
yeah.
or something like that. Be on a winning team. They could do stuff like that.
I don't see dailies being that bad. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Here's the Storm. It changes per person. So like one person will have like play support 2 games, while the other person has play assassins 2 games,
Mhm.
or So I mean, it's not bad. Like if they make it random and what you get.
Yeah.
They could also
Hey,
do
but-
like time played on a certain character as a daily goal or something like that. Like
You're
play
screwed if it's
25
ever not
minutes
Mercy.
of Zenyatta.
She gets McCree. She gets a bunch of McCree
Get
quests.
McCree dailies and just be done. Like, I'm done. No.
Get 50
I'll wait till he
headshots
does
with
that.
McCree. All right, fuck it.
Oh.
Canceling.
It's taking me the
Closing
whole
that
night,
quest.
damn it. Yeah.
Time to shoot bots.
Okay, map changes. Nepal. A couple new routes to Nepal. Remove some walls. I think I noticed some. I didn't really notice making too much of a difference, but
Map 2 Nepal. Oh god, it helps so much. It helps
Yeah,
so
it
much.
does, actually.
which one? Oh, okay, yeah. I know what you're talking about. That's true.
It's like
The
right
second
around
one.
the point there used to be walls that
Right.
like made it cornered basically, and now it's not cornered anymore.
Yeah.
You just gotta walk in on both sides.
The first one did any of the changes to the first one make any difference?
There's another route to get to the higher ground of the first point easier,
Yeah.
which
Okay.
does help like
Oh, and there's
non-Genjis.
There's a what?
You don't have to jump. There's ramps now, like
Oh, yeah.
leading up to the side. You don't have to jump up on the different like levels of cement blocks anymore.
Okay, let's see, just some balance changes. So hero power now ignores the payload during line of sight checks, which is really great because it used to be so. When I play Reinhardt, I would get so frustrated when their shatter would get blocked. So this is nice. It looks like they've done it for Lucio, Mei, Reinhardt, Soldier, and Zenyatta's ultimates. So that's definitely a good change. Zenyatta. Okay, so this is what we were all talking about last week, which was, the changes were okay, but there still needs to be something done about Zenyatta. So they finally did. So for both orbs, now it automatically turns the target when the targets are out of sight, or at least out of line of sight from Zenyatta for more than 3 seconds. Has this corrected all the issues? I mean, has this been the magical change, or would you like to see a different one?
I would have liked to. I mean, I told everyone like over and over again what I wanted the change to be, which was not line of sight, but just a straight up timer. Like just put a 10-second timer on it or something like that, or whatever, however long they think is balanced.
Mm-hmm.
Line of sight for 3 seconds is really, really weird because there's so many walls in this game. It's like you kind of constantly have to just be standing beside the person that you're putting orb on,
Mm-hmm.
or just juggling it between people. I don't necessarily feel as effective with Harmony Orb. Like I said, I would have liked to see not a line of sight thing, but just a straight up like put it on the person, it lasts for a certain amount of time, and that's it.
Right.
Line of sight for Discord Orb, I think, is definitely okay
Mhm.
because it gives you an opportunity to get the Discord off of you in a like okay amount of time. So like if Discord was 15 seconds or 10 seconds, that would be a little much because you basically take that person out of the fight for however long it takes them to get it off. So line of sight for Discord I'm okay with, but Harmony Orb is a little bit different.
Yeah, it definitely
because-
functions well for Discord.
yeah.
It just removes
Zen's
something
so
about
squishy. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go stand beside my tank, but odds are I probably die to splash damage because I'm standing beside my tank.
Right. Jason, what do you think? This change?
I feel like it should just last for like 5 seconds, but not be taken away by line of sight. Like, if you're trying to siege an enemy team like a Reinhardt and you get like a cheeky Discord on him, you're making him easier to actually be susceptible to damage. And if he can just run around a corner, I don't know, it's kind of tricky because he gives up positioning, so it makes it easy for you to push in. But at the same time, I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, it's better the way it was before.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
I would like to see a couple different changes just to test what actually works the best. It's
think
definitely
they
a
went in the
change in the
right
right
direction.
direction.
Yeah.
Jinx. Give me a Coke.
Jeez.
Yeah, let me mail that to you real quick. See you in 3 weeks.
It costs
Yeah.
you like $40.
Yeah.
No, I'd agree
Yeah,
with
I
that
think they
too.
definitely went in the right direction with it.
Mhm.
The time, like putting a timer on it in general was the right direction. 3 seconds is a little low. I mean, for Discord, it's fine. But like I said, for Harmony Orb, it's just like, it's really hard. There's so many walls in the game where you literally, like, your team could just walk behind a wall trying to get away from splash damage or something, and then they just are away too long and you lose it. Like, I was playing Zenyatta my last game of the day or something, like, I think it was my last game of the day on stream today, and we were on King's Row defense, and I tried to just get as high up off the ground as I possibly could, and just keep it, like, swapping it between my two tanks.
Right.
And it just ended up being, like, really hard because there was the huge statue in the middle of the map, and, like, if my tank moved anywhere around that statue, it was just like, oh, you're gone. Sorry. If you die within the next, like, 2 seconds when I can't see you.
You could say that maybe one of their motivations was to have the targets have to pay attention to where you are, right? Like, normally if you're playing Mercy, like if you have a Mercy in your team, or in the past you had Zenyatta, you just do your thing, and it's just like, okay, healers, you just keep us alive. Like, I don't have to worry about where you are. You just be in the right position, and you're responsible for that for the most part. And sometimes you'll have somebody covering for you or not, the back line. But for the most part, those guys never know where you are. It's just that's your duty.
It's not really their job to know, I think. Like, a support who's sitting far away can't imagine or understand what's happening in front of your tank. It's not like your tanks. You'd be like, oh, well, my Zenyatta's here, so I can't move past this point. Sometimes he needs to move. Sometimes he needs to charge. Sometimes he has to do something that will pull him out of line of sight. So I think it's more the support's job to be just physically aware of everything around them. And if they see their tank going in, well, they're going to have to adjust. I like, the fact that Harmony disappears that quickly. Maybe a little bit longer would be a little bit nicer, or maybe like have it heal a little bit more, since it like in the very beginning, or I don't know. I mean, Zenyatta can be such a strong frontline healer for tanks. It's like 50 HPS or something like that, isn't it? Lord,
I mean,
that's a lot of health.
25, yeah, HPS.
Okay. That's
I agree
close,
that
right?
there's definitely situations where you need to be mindful of, your tank's abilities, like a Reinhardt charge or something like that. But at the same time, like, there's so many obstacles that just randomly cause line of sight in the game. Not even randomly, but just like... And then you have to figure out whether you want to put yourself in a position as Zenyatta with 150 HP. Like, okay, I've got high ground. It took me, 5 seconds to get up here. That's 5 seconds that I'm not going to have healing on someone because I have to line of sight myself in order to get on high ground. So do I take the second that it takes to jump down from the high ground to put myself in danger of getting hit by a Tracer or a Genji, or even just any kind of splash damage like Pharaoh Rockets or something like that, just to get my Harmony Orb back on a tank who moved around a pillar for 2 seconds? Like, that's just annoying.
It's definitely difficult, and I have a feeling they're just going to play around with maybe a couple different versions of this, but maybe this one lasts 2 weeks instead of just 1 week. Eventually, they're getting. I mean, at least we know where they're getting close. So, and it seems to be making a difference in the meta.
I'm definitely okay with testing it more and not having them change it right away.
Yeah,
but I do feel like line of sight was not necessarily the right change. I think they were going in the right direction, like Jason said, with timers, but line of sight is just a little much with how much there is to line of sight you in the game.
Sure.
I would like to see Discord up to 5 seconds, to be honest. Like, as an assassin, it's your job to like be sneaky. You're not supposed to be like, hey, I'm Genji, I'm jumping right in front of you, now I'm gonna get around you. Like, you have to be sneaky, so make it 3 seconds where I can just like get rid of it and then go back to being sneaky. I don't know, I feel like they need to be punished more for the fact that they've been spotted by Zenyatta. I don't know.
I see. 3 seconds is a long time, though. I don't know. I think it is. Especially in these very crucial moments too.
It feels like enough. Like Discord at 3 seconds feels like enough. If I can get it on a Tracer or a Genji as they're speeding around a corner, like if a Tracer is about to like just kind of dash around a corner to try and get behind me, and I can catch her with the Discord orb, like just before she crosses the corner, then 3 seconds is enough for me to say, okay, she just went around the corner. I can see her for these 3 seconds, and now I know where she is, and now I know where she's coming from, and I can adjust myself based off of that. So I think the 3 seconds for Discord is okay. It's just the line of sight for Harmony Orb is what's bothering me.
Okay, speaking of seeing her, do you guys still like the wall hack, that ability on the Discord? Because that was one thing that we were talking about needs to go too.
It was the fact that Discord was permanent and it gave you a wall hack was the problem, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
I think
great.
Zenyatta needs that wall hack. He's so like without the extra 50 HP from a Symmetra, if you're just playing pubs or whatever, and you have Zenyatta, he's only 150 HP. More than likely, he's trying to defend himself against everything that's trying to come at him and kill him. So, the wall hack is nice.
All right. Cool. Yeah, getting close. We're getting close to fixing it all. Everything else, I think for the most part, was minor. And I think we spent like a good hour on this, or almost an hour on this topic. So let's move on. Let's talk about Buttgate, which which was basically a discussion that. Let me actually bring up the original discussion. It was a discussion that was started on the forums, started by a poster called Phipps, and it was talking about a particular pose, that a victory pose that we have for Zenyatta. Oh, not Zenyatta, for Tracer. Zenyatta, yeah. A pose for Zenyatta would be pretty funny. But it's this pose right here. All right. And
wait, are you putting this up on your stream?
Yeah.
Do you have a rating for that? Like,
a rating for
that? Mature.
I do have an 18. I do have the whole 18 thing, on Twitch. So, but that's great for you to ask that,
I'm just completely distracted
Jason.
by picturing what a victory pose as Zenyatta would look like.
But okay, so anyways, this pose obviously generated a post from an Overwatch user that talked about how this pose was not only not within the, I guess, what the character of Tracer is, but also that he deemed it inappropriate. Mentioned his daughter really liking Tracer, and how this was a weird way of essentially sexualizing Tracer, who's not really it's not really a character that's supposed to be like that. And I think everybody agrees that she's more of a fun character, and not like Widowmaker, who's, I think, more along the lines of a sexy character, right?
I disagree with that so much.
Really? Okay, well, I think a lot of people in the community actually have been talking about that. I was just throwing that out as an example. I don't know if I actually personally agree or not with it, but
no, I know. I'm just saying.
Yeah. But so this caused a lot of controversy. It's caused a lot of drama because Jeff Kaplan, in a very short post, just said he was going to change it. Didn't really give much details, and that was really the big issue, is that everybody just thought because one person complains about it, we changed it, and this whole a little bit of talk of just like sexualization in games, and how like developers or in this particular case the Overwatch developers are reacting so fast to it, and how that's bad. Then Jeff last night came out with a statement that they were already thinking about changing the victory pose because they didn't like it. And in a way, it's just like, okay, this works out for them because, they were going to change it anyways, and they thought it wasn't consistent with Tracer anyways, and we can kind of just stop this whole talk, right? Well, the community definitely reacted in a big way. We saw lots of videos. TV even made a very sarcastic video, and lots of people reacted to it. So I want to get your thoughts on, first, the issue at hand, and then secondly, how everybody reacted. Jason, why don't you start?
I'm actually going to hand it over to Shayed.
Okay, Shayed, all right.
I'll let her talk first about it.
Wow, okay, all right.
So, the whole people talking about how, like, this is, if they're going to do this to Tracer, they have to do the same thing to Widowmaker. No, this whole thing is stupid. Everything about this is stupid. Widowmaker was never meant to be, I guess she wasn't purposefully made to be this sexualized character. She, if you read her lore, literally does not have feelings. They, like, stopped her heart. She's blue because she doesn't have, like, life in her. She's not meant to be this, like, ooh, I'm super sexy and seductive. She's not feeling at all. She's a killer. She's a cold-blooded killer.
Mm-hmm.
And
I like my word.
The way that people...
No-blooded killer.
Yeah, the way that people, like, created this whole, like, sexualized kind of identity about Widowmaker is just something that people have made on their own. And it's the same thing with Tracer. Tracer, yeah, she's super spunky and like, cheers, love. Like, okay, that's not a thing. Like, shut up, Jason. Like, that's something that the community has made out of her. It's not something that Blizzard, intended by making Tracer, like, have a nice ass. It's like,
okay,
it's not their problem. It's not their fault. Like, Jason.
All right. So you don't have
a Tracer say? What does Tracer say?
Oh my gosh.
Shut up.
All right,
That
so
sounded more American. Oh.
Do you have an
I'm not
issue
even
with this? Do you have an issue with this pose or no?
No,
Okay.
I don't. I
right.
think that people are just everyone is always going to find something to complain about. No matter what it is, it could be something as stupid as, "Oh my god, I see Tracer's butt crack." Like, who cares? Don't use that pose. If your daughter sees it, just don't use it. Like,
All right, Jason.
and by that logic, freaking remove Widowmaker and Symmetra from the game, because God knows that fucking booty pose from Symmetra is way worse by these standards than Tracer. Like,
there wasn't that much talk about Symmetra,
God,
surprisingly.
so
Yeah.
irritating.
All right, Jason, your thoughts?
Can I just request Shayed say cheers one more time
God, you're so
before I start talking?
Denied.
Denied. Okay.
My lord, I'm gonna make that like a sub sound in my stream now. Thank you for that.
I'll record it just for you.
So I understand what the guy's talking about. If you're trying to fit it to her lore, I guess the pose doesn't really make sense. But at the same time, why do you care? Like, I don't know. It's like you've got Widowmaker doing like a bending over, sticking her ass out, but like this is not okay. Like I understand. I don't understand.
Have you ever crouched as Widowmaker and like had someone spectate you? That's way worse than booty pose.
That's true.
Don't ask why I know that.
I understand why, because it maybe doesn't fit her cute, fun, spunky kind of like play style or personality, but at the same time, it's just a pose. Like, I'll make that pose. I don't care, and someone can use it for whatever they want. Like, I don't have the butt to back it up, but like, what about it is?
Well,
I don't know.
The question
it makes
is,
me so angry.
You know what's funny is that if the crack, that little crack drawing there wasn't so defined, like, would anybody be having any issue with this pose? Just period. You know, like, people are trying to say this is like some kind of, this pose itself is saying something, and it's not just that the butt is like so defined there or anything, and I don't know. I feel like nobody would have an issue at all if that.
Like, how can
that
someone
line
have an issue over a fucking line on your ass? But you can have people in Street Fighter V wearing like the tightest thongs and not give a flying fuck about it.
Well,
like,
some people do
Christ.
have problems with that too.
There's so many other
like...
stupid implications to this too. Like, one of my favorite people, and like someone that I actually look up to a lot because I think she's a super strong, like awesome person, is Pamela Horton. She's known as like the gamer girl Playboy model, and like I think she's hilarious. She's awesome. Like, she tries to do as much as she can. Jason's like, let me Google this.
I Googled it too. I don't actually know either. She's
genuinely good at video games, but at the same time, like, she's a Playboy model, which, you know, isn't necessarily like.
Say real quick, guys.
You know, but like, what does that mean for people that are in that industry, but also, you know, like, just want to play video games all day? It's just kind of like, you're gonna complain about someone being over-sexualized in a video game, but there's actually people out there that do things like Playboy, but also want to, you know, still have.
Can you please get Legendary Leah?
They're
Let's not talk about Legendary Leah.
There are definitely a lot of. Okay, so.
I just need to turn my cam off for a couple minutes, guys. I'll be right back.
All right, reaction from the community.
Like, how the fuck? You look at Street Fighter, like, look at TV. What the hell? This compares nothing. It's a video game. It's pixels. Unless you're cosplaying Tracer in bed, I don't fucking care. Like, God.
I agree with you too. I mean, it's blown way out of proportion.
Fantasies, but who cares? Like, why is your kid watching like an 18+ video game anyways? Maybe a parental problems more than problems with an ass crack.
What was interesting is that the community, I think the most of the community reacted in a similar fashion. Just the majority, I think, reaction was that this was way overblown, kind of crazy. Lots of content creators making funny videos all about it, and people writing up about it. But what does it say that, you know, I guess something like this, like one post like this generates, you know, threads and threads that have thousands and thousands of upvotes, you know, just literally a huge topic point for our community. I mean, is this is this a little? I guess was this the right reaction? You know, what you would expect from a community, or do you think this was I don't know, just very sensitive reaction?
I mean, I'm not even mad at Blizzard for their reaction about it. I'm mad at the person. Like, I'm genuinely upset that the person was thought, like, they spent so much time thinking about this that they were like, I'm gonna go make a forum post. I'm not even upset that Blizzard had the reaction that they did to it. It's like, this person was so upset that they were like, I'm gonna go and write about all my feelings about this stupid situation in a forum post instead of just, don't let your daughter watch you play Tracer with that victory pose. Change your victory pose. Why are you using that victory pose?
Well, I mean, he has a right to post whatever. I mean, he can post whatever he wants. It's more just like everybody reacting to that single post is what I'm kind of getting at. It's like one single post on the Blizzard thread. It wasn't just the single post. It was actually Jeff reacting to it, and in a very reacting to it without very many details. I think is what generated the craziness. If he would have just said it from this, just said that they were planning on changing it, didn't have to do with the lore, and they wanted to make it better, we probably wouldn't have had much of an issue here. So it feels like it's like a learning, definitely Jeff probably learned something from this, and that just being a little bit, I guess, more transparent about the change or a little bit more informative would have stopped a lot of this drama. We literally would not be talking about it today.
It was definitely not good from a PR perspective.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't necessarily handled very well.
I mean, it wasn't. I mean, like, in what way? Besides the fact that he just like mentioned it really quickly. I mean, is that what you mean? I feel like
before Jeff responded to that, he probably should have like talked to other people at Blizzard in the Overwatch department and just been like, "Hey guys, I'm thinking about responding to this post. What do you think?" And then like, maybe responding after that. I kind of feel like he just responded to it and was like, yeah, type.
Can we like put the picture just put in the sky and on as well? Maybe she needs to cover up her ass crack.
Put who? What?
Cammy from Street Fighter.
Oh, Cammy.
Maybe she's showing a little bit too
much. Give me some of these. Give me some of these pics. I'll show some of the.
What do you want them for?
Show some of the ones that you're talking about here. Oh, is this where? Is this this is actually from the game, right? That you just showed here.
No, that's a DeviantArt.
That's a DeviantArt picture. Yeah.
Okay, here you go.
Yeah, you have to show me one that's actually from the game, and we'll make a comparison here.
There you go.
Just like Poison.
Poison? Oh my God. She's not a Street Fighter. What?
No, I'm not. I'm talking about the games in general. Just Link Poison.
Okay, so this is from Street Fighter. I mean, I that's a separate conversation too. I mean, obviously, I'm sure some very small amount of people have an issue with this too, or a lot of feminists probably have an issue with that character too. So it just brings up that topic, that just the whole sexualizing females in games, but we just didn't we didn't have to dive all the way into it with this particular case. But I just thought it was interesting how people reacted. What is that?
So what I just linked, her ultimate, I think her name's Mika, is she actually like butt slams with another woman into a dude's head. Like, complain about that, man. If you're gonna complain about a crack in a Tracer's, like, it could just be a crease. Maybe it's not her butt, all right? Maybe she has a really flat butt like I do. You never know. Maybe she should iron her pants. Like, it's fine to have an opinion. Iron her pants?
That's a wrinkle?
It's fine to have an opinion. Like, I'm not against that at all. I don't understand. That's fine. I won't argue against that at all. But, like, grow the fuck up. Like, Jesus. Like, I can understand he wants a good, like, representation for his daughter, but that's not the way the world works. Can't, like, cover up everything you don't like in the world.
All right. Well, again, like I said,
reaction was hilarious.
Yeah.
So
I agree. Like, how am I supposed to look like Reinhardt? All right, that's just not possible. I don't have the muscles for that. I can't go beast mode. Like,
a lot of people pointing out Genji. A lot of people pointing out TP had the whole Winston
thing.
My
God! Can we show that picture on stream? The Uber chain one that she did. Did you see that?
I'll find that one. I'll show it.
I will link it. It's the best thing I've ever seen.
All right. Well, while she's finding that, you can see here. I'm showing Jeff's. I I guess, reply to all of this, which.
Like, I mean, it wasn't a bad reply. Like,
No, it wasn't.
It's technically right that I guess it doesn't follow Tracer's like path as a character, but I mean, she's a woman. Do you want her to like not show anything?
That victory pose isn't about Tracer wanting to show off her ass. It's about she's like being cheeky by like, ooh, I'm gonna look over my shoulder and like taunt you. It's not like ooh, I just want to look over my shoulder so you can see my ass.
It was an "I own you." I think some people quoted it as an "I own you" pose.
It had nothing to do with her
is that
trying
something
to over-sexualize herself.
Exactly. So definitely interesting, but it does sound like, you know, at this point they're like, this is what we're gonna do, and we're just gonna we're going to do what we feel is right, you know, just from an artistic standpoint, and we just didn't think that one was a good one, so they're changing it. We'll have to see what the new poses are and things like that. But for now, I guess it's a dead issue. Just like, for a lot of fun in 24 hours.
The Genji picture is so good, though.
Okay, it kind of must have been a really slow day in the office for like Jeff to see that post and respond to it.
So good.
This is ridiculous.
So good.
I've got mixed feelings about that.
Genji one or?
Yeah, I've got mixed
feelings. I have always said that Genji has the best butt in the game, and this is literally just proof of that.
Okay. All right.
Be right back in 5 minutes, guys. Turn my camera off.
He does squat. For sure.
All right. So no Buttgate.
His ass isn't even an ass. It's like a cyborg's butt. It's not even.
It's like a piece of metal that makes this crap.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I wonder if he gets like. Never mind.
All right. Let's move on.
Let's
move on. This is going down a different route here. Okay, so let's talk about competitive events. Just to kind of do our recap, talk a little bit about what we saw meta-wise. Why?
Wishlist.
Oh, wishlist. Okay, you want to do wishlist? I didn't think we had anything. All right, what do you wish for this week from the game? Any kind of features you'd like to see, or even
I would love to see Symmetra shield not recharge and act like Torbjorn's shield.
Oh, we said that last week.
Yeah,
we said it last week, but I wanna like re-input it again.
Keep saying it over.
You're seeing Torbjorn Symmetra stacking, not stacking, but two of them just to make it so you can make tanks out of characters who shouldn't be tanks, which I guess does hinder your team in general. But if you can play around it, it's not really that bad. I don't know. I like to see him tweak around with Symmetra shield a little bit more.
So you want shield to have to be healed like armor is healed?
I want you have to
like not regenerate.
Yeah, not regenerate. You have to like reapply the shield that she puts on. No, hold on. Let me take it back. If you take like 49 damage because it's a 50 health shield, then it can recharge. But if you take 50 or more, then you have to reapply it. Because like it's like her E is so boring because you use it at the start of the game and then you use it when someone dies. But in between that, you're literally putting turrets down and holding right click and letting go. There's no actual like upkeep in the game for you besides like someone comes to you, okay, all right, shield me, all right, done. Like. Like,
you can't do that though because shield, like there's other characters that have shielding in the game that isn't applied to them by an outside source.
Yeah,
Zenyatta, Zarya both have health and shield. That's armor.
Yeah.
Armor and shield are different.
But
shield does not give you any
doesn't.
other. Shield does not give you any extra like stats on top of just extra health. Armor has damage mitigation.
Yeah, but the armor that you get from Torbjorn can't be healed from a health pack. It disappears. Like permanently, but armor on like Diva, Reinhardt, you can heal it, so it's still very different than like standard armor.
I think I might agree with Shayed more here that it should just regen, just so it's consistent with like the other shielding in the game. But I do agree with you, Jason, that I feel like there needs to be more application of her E, because literally the beginning of a game, and maybe, you know, when they respawn, you have to do it again. But for the most part, the E is like a one-time, you know, like literally right in the beginning of the game, and you don't really do much. You don't do much with it the rest of the game. So
which
they
is
should figure
unfortunate,
something
actually,
out.
that you have to apply it before the timer actually starts, because anything you do before the attack objective A or escort the payload happens on your screen doesn't actually count towards your stats. So if you're playing Symmetra and you are putting shields on everyone before they leave the spawn area or whatever, before the game actually starts, it doesn't count towards your stats. So you could apply 5 shields in the first like 40 seconds and it'll still say you've applied 0.
Okay.
What?
Okay.
It's a stat.
It's not like important or competitive wise, but I understand.
It's a
important to
minor
me.
thing. It definitely is a
be
minor
added.
thing. Yeah.
But like the whole point of the shield
It's a
is
card at the end of the game. Hello?
Jason, you're just not hardcore enough. All right, let's just be real here. Okay.
like the whole point of it. I mean, yeah, a shield regenerates, and that's all nice and dandy. But one thing that a shield does, which is similar to armor, is that it prevents you from being like one shot by a Widowmaker, which is like really important if you're playing like a Tracer or a Genji to not be assassinated like that. Torbjorn, you have a much bigger commitment to putting armor on someone because you have to build the scrap and then drop it and hope they walk over it. Whereas the shield that Symmetra puts up, you put it on and you forget it. I feel like Torbjorn has to do so much more work to put the armor on, which I understand. Yes, it does give you damage mitigation, but Symmetra just literally hits E and then just AFKs. Whenever she has a shield up, she puts it, or a turret down, she puts it down. And it's just she's not fun to play in her current form.
I would say then to like kind of balance out what you're saying is make it have to be reapplied if it's gone completely.
Yeah,
but if it's
like
49 damage or something, it can still be healed.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. Basically.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So
no, you were saying like Torbjorn, if you get hit by something, the armor isn't healed.
Yeah, but before that, I was saying that they need to make it like a Symmetra. If you take 49 or less damage, then it can regen. If you take more than 50 or 50 or more, then
yeah, if it still exists, then it regens. And
yeah, sorry, sometimes I just tune out when you're talking.
Wow.
I do the same thing when I look at your face.
Wow! Oh my god!
Hey, by the way, just for everyone in chat, have you
Wow.
guys noticed that one of her hair braids is actually bigger than the other one? Just saying.
Wow, we're going low here, man. We are going low here. Okay, I think that's a good one. Shayed, you got anything? Got any wish list for the week?
Just timer.
Timer.
Just timer, Zenyatta, take away the LOS.
Yeah. Okay.
On just Harmony Orb. Leave the LOS on for Discord. No, you shush.
What?
This is my wish list time.
That's right.
I wasn't.
What else? Actually, I think that's about it.
I don't have anything
happy with
this
Mercy.
week. Yeah.
I'm really happy with Mercy right now. I hope they don't touch her. She's perfect.
Wow.
So,
we got to record this. She is
perfect. Mercy is too strong. Nerf her healing in half. Nerf her damage amp in half. Make it so she can't dash to souls anymore.
Get the fuck out!
And also she can't fly. I'm sorry. This is my wish list here, Shayed. Can you
wait! I do have one Mercy
no,
suggestion.
No, we're in my now.
It's a quality of life thing.
Okay.
I wish that so when you hit shift to fly to somebody, there's sometimes an issue. I find this more to be a problem in like big boy games when like there's really good people on the other team and there's really good people on my team. If I push shift to go to somebody and that person then moves themselves or goes to a position that would put me in danger or they die or something like that, I'd like the option to cancel my shift by pushing shift again.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think that'd be good.
That's
yeah,
it.
I think that makes
Other
sense.
than that, Mercy's perfect and I love her.
Okay. All right, so moving on.
I forgot my other wish list.
Oh, did you actually have one, or are you just being troll now?
I actually did have one. But now I need to think about what it is.
Wow, that's the trials of a troll.
Scope sensitivity slider for Widowmaker.
Oh, that's always been an issue, right? Yeah, it's still
individual sensitivity per character would be nice.
No,
it's like half.
It's not
like
even
half
that.
Or something like
it's
that.
not even that because her sensitivity without aiming versus aiming, it's actually slower with aiming. So even if you just do a personal sensitivity for her, which I have to change my sensitivity just to play her, I can't quick scope because my non-scope sensitivity is way too fast compared to my scope. So that would be something I'd like to see.
I mean, I would just like individual sensitivity in general too, because my sensitivity when I play Mercy is really high, but it should be a lot lower than that when I'm playing something else. Like my sensitivity I play on is like 16, but like if I told anybody that's an FPS player that, they'd be like, that's way too freaking high. Like told Siegel that and he just like lost his shit at me. He was like, that's way too high. What are you doing? Like, no, stop. I'm like, but I have to, because I have to be able to like have a really small like movement, I guess, in order to like fly around as Mercy properly.
I actually like where Mercy is now.
It's the same thing for a lot of players.
Like
I like where she is too.
Using your res to like do one or two people instead of like hoping you get a 5-man res. I like that. It's like more engaging. It's more Like you can do a lot more with resing 1 or 2 people and then have your ult up again, sooner after than to have to just wait for a big ult. It's actually I don't know, I like that.
It extends these battles too, like not to the point where the team that actually gets the full res just kind of comes back and rolls. It actually just it draws out these battles like a lot longer, where it's like 3 or 4 guys just fighting each other for a while, and sometimes it gets to the point where the guys get back in from spawning too. So I definitely like it too. Just more frequent reses too is kind of cool to see for sure. Okay, competitive events. So Go to Gamers, of course. Both the NA and EU. Not too many surprises. The EU one, of course, IDQD wins easily.
NA was really dead this week.
Yeah, NA was pretty dead this week.
There was only 8 teams total.
Yeah, I've heard that there are a lot of teams disbanding, like kind of reassembling. A lot of that going on. But the semifinals, just a lot of the usual suspects. We saw Luminosity, Code 7, Cloud9, and who was the last one? Who's the 4th team? Gosh, I'm like drawing a blank here.
Life of Hanzo.
Oh yeah, Life of Hanzo. Yeah, that's right.
Luminosity. I mean, they're pretty forgetful.
No, I said Luminosity.
Gosh, I'm just trying to egg her on.
And then of course,
ignoring everything you say.
Cloud9 ended up taking it in the end. Any changes to meta you guys notice? I mean, obviously the cancer meta is a little bit. It's not as prevalent now, but
it's like recession meta now. It's like the cancer's residing within your body,
no,
but it's still there a little bit.
It
definitely changed.
It's double soldier.
It mutated.
Yeah, it's double soldier, double tracer, Lucio Symmetra.
Lucio Symmetra. Oh, double soldier. Okay, I didn't.
Double soldier, double tracer, Lucio Symmetra. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, explain that. Explain double soldier.
I mean, soldier has self-healing. Tracer basically has self-healing with her E. Even if she doesn't self-heal, a good tracer pretty much knows where every health pack on the map is. Lucio can still fend for himself pretty much for the most part, and especially with 250 HP. And
so a lot of
soloing. HP to
Tracer. It's basically turning into a lot of soloing characters in a way. Is that what we're saying? Just a bunch of soloing characters? It's kind of what
people that can just fend for themselves for the most part, but can still fall back to their team if need be. And still have, like, decently impactful, like, team fight ults. Like, Soldier's ult can wipe out an entire team, especially if there's 2 of them. Tracer Bomb can take out someone in a 1v1 or even a 2v1.
Okay.
Or take out supports if need to be in the background.
I saw some Torbs
pop up. And Symmetra is always going to be really good with her utility of her teleporter, as long as you don't put it in a place that's going to, like, just fuck over your whole team.
Yeah,
don't put it on the cart and have it be destroyed 5 seconds later.
I did see some Torbs pop up here and there, which is kind of cool to see. Just anything new is great. I mean, we've seen Torbs here and there like for the last several weeks, but a little bit more frequently this weekend. Jason, did you watch any events this weekend?
Technically, yes.
Were you paying attention to the events this weekend?
Do you do anything ever?
All right, what'd you see?
She really want me to open up here.
Like, what you did see? What you did see?
So,
what did you notice?
Gentlemen, there's a secret Shayed has that I'm going to share with you all today.
Oh boy!
Shut up.
Here come the shades. Here come. Oh! I know. Okay. Anyways,
what was the topic again? What was the question?
What you did see of the events? What did you notice? My God!
Oh no, I'm just whenever you say something, Shayed, it just instantly gets my mind to how can I burn her next. So I forget it. It's like the Hulk, when I get angry, I don't pay attention to anything else that's happening.
No,
I mean
nothing changes from the normal then, right?
Oh man, this is like the roast hour.
I love you, Jason. You know I love you. It's okay.
Oh, I have the perfect thing to say right now. I can't do it. I can't be that mean.
I applaud you, man. I definitely.
Dude, I want to say it so bad, but she already got so pissed at Minstrel for saying it last time that I don't know if I can say.
Oh, just say your wish
so
list.
So the
stuff.
meta, I mean,
wish list stuff.
The meta changes so much that I really stopped caring about it. It's like, all right, well, there's a big patch because it's beta, so we're gonna play what's really strong. I don't really care about the meta until the game comes out. Like, yeah, there's cancer comp, woohoo, whatever. That lasts for like a week or two until a new patch. Like, I don't know. It's just gonna change really quickly until the patches become slower or less impactful, or there's more heroes released when actually the meta will change because of that. But no, it's just like a Torbjorn. Let's just stack as much pseudo health as we can, Torbjorn, Symmetra, and then just like out tank the other team. That's basically what it's come down to at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think I know where you're coming from, but it is cool to see how people, I guess, adapt quickly from the changes, and I think that's why it's worth discussing every week, just how people adapt and seeing that. Do you guys think that it's going to be very like the changes are going to be very infrequent once the game comes out? I feel like it won't be this fast, literally every single week, but I think they'll be a lot faster to. I mean, I think they'll be faster than some other games that we've seen in trying to, change some existing things.
One of my biggest fears right now is actually that they've said before that they're not going to release any new heroes until after release.
Yeah.
But we really, really need a new support. Like, I know that's like whatever because I'm a support player. I get that, but like honestly, no. They keep releasing new maps.
No, I agree.
They keep releasing new maps, but before we get any new maps, I really need to see a new support. And that's not even just me being like, oh, I'm bored of playing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, for sure.
It's actually the fact that they get to test all of this stuff in beta before actually releasing it to the public when the game releases. Mm-hmm. And one of the most impactful things that is in this game right now is supports. Supports have such a huge impact on the game. I don't care if you shake your head at me.
Well,
it's true.
Even if you don't agree with that, like it should be. I mean, this is one of the unique aspects of this game, right?
They need to put a support, whatever support they're thinking of adding in, they need to actually get it in before the beta ends and before the game releases so that people have a chance to test it, see what it does to the meta, see what it changes in other characters that they might not know about now, because people are going to start completely losing their shit once the game actually releases. They're going to expect changes that are broken to be fixed immediately. Whereas we in beta have a bit more of a tolerance for stuff like that. Like, we'll deal with a broken Zenyatta for months and months and months before we really, really start complaining about something needing to change. So they have that opportunity now where it's like, it's beta.
I think
give us something.
I think there are some points that you make there that are right on, where this is the time to experiment with things, and supports are definitely a class or a role that is unique to Overwatch. And the DPS guys are always going to be celebrated. They're going to be the highlights of every single esport event, and people are going to be pointing out a lot of those plays and how they change it. And supports are definitely going to be the people behind this, just the characters are behind the scenes, just like they are in LCS or just in League of Legends and in games like that. So yeah, I think supports definitely need more variety. Like, we haven't gotten a chance to see just a different type of we've seen some hybrids, but there's definitely a lot of different other things that they can do with it. So this is definitely the time to experiment with it, and I agree with that. But at the same time, it's just like, I mean, if they add more support characters, they almost have to add more, defensive characters too, and DPS guys too. So I mean, they'd have to add it across the board, I feel like, if they did.
I'm not even asking for more than one. Like, there's already, I mean, okay, so you think about it, Lucio and Mercy are like pretty much the only two characters in the game that can basically solo heal if need be. Make it solo heal with Zenyatta, but it's really hard, really difficult. And obviously Symmetra doesn't heal at all. So, I mean, I count that as basically two solo healing supports. I would really like to see someone be added to the game that can compete with Mercy and Lucio on a healing level.
Well, I mean, it's tough because they designed Mercy to be just such a specialized healer. You know what I mean? Like, when you have that specialized healer like that, it's hard to build a variation that's going to, or a hybrid type of, or a character or something that's going to be different than Mercy to compete with the same thing that she literally specializes in. Like, how are you going to make a better healer than Mercy? Like, at least a one.
Jason, how do we make a better healer than Mercy?
Yeah, let's go.
Well, it all starts with a Lucio and a Mercy liking each other, and that like turns into love. And then you have them
Oh
have
my
a baby,
God.
and that baby turns into the greatest AoE support healing person in the world. Um, I actually completely disagree with almost everything that's been said, minus they need more supports in the game. I don't think there should be a new hero into the game before release. We're like almost a month away. Well,
Two
almost.
months.
We're
2
like just
months.
over 2 months, or
Yeah.
just under 2 months away.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna have to release a new character, a new hero when the game's out eventually. Why do you have to do it now before the game's out? Like, yeah, that's
You have
just
a smaller testing area right now. Like you have a group of people that are in the game specifically to test stuff.
Generally, yeah, but it's just like.
So are you saying
it's...
invites were given out specifically to certain people?
No, I'm
Is that
saying
what
the
you're
purpose of a beta test is to test the game. Our job as beta testers playing right now is to give our feedback to Blizzard based on what we find and what we like and dislike about the game.
The only issue with that though, Shayed, is that they can't put something in the game that's not going to be released, right? So I wish we could play on a test server.
Wait,
I wish.
were you saying that you want them to put a new support in and then take it out before the game's
No.
released? So it's
Oh, you want them
tested?
to actually
No,
release it with the game
us
too.
now.
Oh, okay.
So that you have a concentrated group of people that are going to give you feedback, either good or bad, based on the hero, and you can balance it before release so that the people that are playing the game when the game actually comes out aren't just going to constantly lose their shit over something being OP or unbalanced or underpowered or anything like that for a long period of time.
But
it gives you more time to test
can't
something.
Do that because that's like saying, unless you're looking at it from like a PTR aspect, where they'll like have it on the PTR a new hero before it's released, and then you get to test it there.
Yeah.
Like there, I can understand. But if there is no PTR,
no, I'm saying it. I'm saying this because there already should have been another support in the game. There's already only 4 supports. There's literally like 2 times, or not 2 times, but 2 extra of that on every other class. It's like 6 offensive heroes and 6 defensive and like 5 tanks. There's already more of every other class.
But even if you even if you did, Shade, like what type of Mercy competitor would you make? Like what would you design to actually compete against Mercy as a solo healer?
I mean, I've said in the past that I'd like to see kind of like a resto shaman kind of deal. I think that'd be kind of cool, but I don't know. I don't have like a specific thing where I'm like, I want to see this in the game. It's a situation where I want another healer. I don't necessarily care exactly what their abilities are or what they do. It's just I want another healer.
Well, I can almost bet the next support won't be a healer, just because you look at like every other game that has supports, and there's always supports that have 0 healing abilities, like a Symmetra. Because they're based off utility. Squeak. They're based off utility. I'm 27, still going through puberty. Like stuns or something, or like zone denial. Like I can almost guarantee the next one won't have healing, just based off the fact there's already 2.5 strong healers in the game.
I've also said
I don't know.
A Crusader crossbow kind of deal as a healer or support would be kind of
a
fun.
Crusader crossbow. Like you get the shoot. Yeah.
Like the medic in TF2 has a Crusader crossbow where
what?
you can shoot healing into your allies, or you can shoot damage into enemies.
And if you hated line of sight with Zenyatta to begin with, I think you're gonna like this guy. Oh, that sounds.
It's an aim-based situation.
Yeah, it's more skill-based. Like I totally get that. But again, these are all great things, Shade. If Mercy, and you're gonna hate this statement, but if Mercy didn't exist, I feel like they would have more leeway with adding different.
I don't understand why we only have 4 supports versus literally everyone else having more. Like, how are you going to keep people like me that only like to play? I actually only enjoy playing support. I don't really get enjoyment out of playing other classes. It's just, in every single game, I've always enjoyed support the most. And in a situation like this, like, I literally have like 5,000 Mercy games. God forbid the day comes that I get bored of playing Mercy and like I don't really want to play anything else. Like, how are you going to keep people that don't want to play anything other than support interested in the game if they start getting bored of the only 4 people in the game that they want to play?
I think you're looking at too short term. Like,
I mean, I've been playing beta since day 1. Yeah. Like, literally.
The beta is to fix problems in the game at the moment and what they want to release for the actual release of the game. Like, if you look over the next 6 months, I guarantee you'll have like 2 more supports at a minimum, and a total of like 4 new heroes to play. Like
But
League
why
of
not
Legends
just put
had
one
10
of
champions to
if
start
they're
off
already
with.
planning supports and testing them internally as new heroes, why not just put one of them into the game now so that they can get constructive feedback from the beta group before the game actually launches?
They'd
Like,
be
if they're
going
just gonna
back
launch
on
the
what they said.
But if they're just gonna launch like, what happens day
Yeah.
one launch? They're like, oh, here's 2 new heroes, and it's just literally day one of the game coming out.
They probably won't
It's
even
like-
do that.
Well,
They'll probably have
yeah.
a PTR set up where they'll have like the new hero there to be tested before it actually goes live.
Yeah.
I see no reason for them to release a new hero as the game's dropped, because that would
Hype?
cause too many problems.
Well,
No,
they've
I
already,
think
but they've already
game-
announced it. I mean, they can't do
Only
it at
watch,
this point.
like, that's the hype alone.
It's impossible to do it. At
No,
this point.
they said they wouldn't be releasing a new hero into the game until game launch. They never said that it wouldn't happen on game launch or after game launch or anything like that. They just said that there would be only 21 heroes until game launch. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're not going to try to create hype by adding a new hero or two the day of launch.
Yeah.
I can see that being a thing.
Okay.
I still say that, like, I personally think you're looking too short term, because this isn't going to be a game that lasts for like 5-6 months. It's going to be a game that lasts for years, and you're gonna look back at it now like 5 months from now. I mean, yeah,
Probably.
there's always
Yeah.
problems adding a new hero into the game. Like, I'm not going to deny that. There's always problems. But the one big difference that Blizzard has versus like League of Legends or Smite, or I guess CS doesn't really count, but skins, is that they have no monetary incentive to release a hero that's really overpowered. Like in League of Legends, Riot can release a super strong character because they'll make a shit ton of money off it
Mhm.
and then nerf it later. But Blizzard has no real incentive to do that, I think. I agree.
But they're
like,
charging
releasing a
$40,
hero-
Jason. They're charging $40.
Do you know how much? Like
I know.
Bet
I
on
know.
League of Legends accounts.
Thousands of
Um,
dollars.
Like my accounts are worth like $5,000 if I wanted to sell it.
Right.
But I don't. I see no reason, I guess, besides hype to release a new hero, unless they were planning like a tournament, like a Blizzard run tournament, because you know how in Heroes they have these like spring regionals and like spring finals and stuff like that. Like the spring's happening in Korea like this weekend or next, something like that. Unless they're planning like on a tournament and they wanted to get the hero out there early enough because they wanted that hero to be played, kind of thing, then I could see them doing that. But they'd be probably keeping a very close eye on how it affects everything and how it could be overpowered.
Why not include it now so you can see why
They
how
can't
it
go
affects
back.
everything?
I don't.
Because they can't go back on what they said.
I
That's
mean,
not a good like business.
They haven't
policy.
officially. I mean, sure. I think they take just not adding anything to the game as not adding to the beta, because we're supposed to be testing the actual gold, right, for this game. So this isn't like a test server. This is actually the the actual code that's going to be released, like what we're testing in the beta right now. So I think because of that, I don't see them like surprising us with some kind of launch like that. Would it be cool? I think it would be cool. I mean, I think it'd be great to have another support player, support character.
Also, I think Blizzard, I think they even talked about it. They kind of regret how they did this beta so closed and didn't put more people in it. I think adding a new hero and then all of us being like, yeah, we can play this new hero, ha ha, this is great. And all the people who didn't get in the beta will get even more pissed off. So I think just as a marketing plan or as a PR plan for the company, it makes no sense to release a new hero before beta to go back on what they said and to make it even worse.
And I think you said.
I mean, to speak to what you said about PTR, every other Blizzard game has a PTR. So why would Overwatch not have a PTR?
I hope it does, and I'm sure
Yeah.
it probably will. And that's when the new heroes will start.
Yeah, and I mean, there's rumors as to when, like I think people have been talking about heroes, and it doesn't sound like it's gonna be that long, So even if folks like it launches with a few support, I don't think there's gonna be fatigue instantly, on people just like, oh, this is
I'm
it.
not
This
saying
is like,
no. I'm not
so I
saying
think-
instantly. I'm
yeah.
saying on a timeline. Like, there's even some days where I'm starting to feel it, where like I'm like, okay, I love Mercy, but do I really want to play her again right now? Like,
If there was matchmaking and team matchmaking, would you not care then? I think most people
What do you
wouldn't
mean?
care. If there was like matchmaking where you're getting like ranked and stuff, like I wouldn't give a shit who I was playing. I'd just be trying to get as high rank as I possibly could. So like I wouldn't
yeah,
get
but
tired of a
there's still
hero.
an enjoyment
but-
factor.
True,
There's still an
true.
enjoyment factor.
But I was asking, do you think like the lack of a goal makes it so you enjoy Mercy less or playing support less? And
This is
besides crates,
achievements.
which get wiped anyways. I mean, yeah, the achievements. I don't even know if those get wiped or not.
I think they will. I think they are getting wiped. Right?
Like, I agree. Like, I get tired of playing some heroes as well, but I also look at it in the terms of when the game comes out, like, I'll have an advantage, I guess, a little advantage of just knowing how to play the hero better, and I'll be more than happy to accomplish the goal of winning by playing a hero I necessarily don't like as much, just for the sake of getting a higher MMR, and that in turn will give me the enjoyment of not playing a certain hero. It's just there's not a lot of incentive to like play one hero over and over and over and over and over again unless you just really enjoy it from the get go.
She's talking about more of a role. She's talking more of roles than a specific character.
Like,
yeah, I mean, so the choice.
Yeah, it's not a specific thing. It's just like I play a shit ton of Mercy because I like Mercy. I played plenty of other, like, I played plenty of Zenyatta, I played plenty of Symmetra, I played plenty of Lucio. Like, that's not a thing. It's just, we're here to beta test stuff. Why don't you give us something to beta test? Like, new content. Like, we literally have gotten we've gotten 2 new maps over the last 2 weeks. Literally, the last 2 patches have been 2 new maps. You could have just saved one of those maps and give us something else instead that might actually be more impactful than a new map. It is a lot. There's some team comps that travel the distance of maps. They are effective on more than one map. And those team comps are what's going to be affected by a new hero.
Yeah, I mean, a new hero I think a new hero rocks the balance and everything a lot more than like a new map. And right now I feel like they're just trying to solidify release, get that out. And then, we start over, right? After it comes out, then I think everything's fair game again. And, having new characters, balance being thrown off, potentially, and seeing how it comes together. But right now, I think they're just worried mostly about release. And, it's in pretty good shape. The game's in pretty good shape at this point. So a little few things, balance has popped up, right, in the last month or last few weeks. But getting pretty close at this point. I don't feel like we haven't seen another cancer meta this week. We'll have to see next week what happens. But yeah, I mean, I understand your concerns, Shayed, but like Jason said, I think in about 5 months you'll just be like, oh, it's this is great. Now that I have like 6 or 7, choices now, I think it'll be fine. Okay, in terms of anything else, we should plug the tournament. We should plug the ONOG tournament.
Yeah, ONOG.
Yeah, that Shayed is helping Fish Sticks organize, or both of you guys are organizing with the ONOG folks. So here we go.
Yeah, I'm super excited about it.
Yeah.
Saturday we had our 4th place qualifier match between Life of Hanzo and Prime. And I believe it was 3-1? 2-1? 2-1 or 3-1? It was 3-1 because it was best of 5, so I'm retarded.
3-1. It's definitely 3-1. It's definitely 3-1.
It was 3-1 no matter what because it was a best of 5. It was really good. I had a lot of fun, actually. Even just watching the games and seeing teams be like, they really had something to compete for, because not only is this the biggest prize pool that's currently being offered in Overwatch right now, but it's something where you actually, like Life of Hanzo is not a team that really got a ton of attention earlier because they're fairly new. So, beating out a team like Prime that's kind of been around for a little while, it's nice to see like stuff like that happen. I like it when upsets happen. So it wasn't necessarily an upset, but it was a situation where Life of Hanzo is kind of the newcomer coming in. And it was exciting to see them win, and I'm really happy for them, and I'm really looking forward to seeing them play against the other 7 teams. So
this week we got the other one being played out with, is it G2 and Multi here, or is it both of them?
We haven't decided yet because G2 is disbanded.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
very recently
ask you about. Yeah.
So I kind of have to decide whether we just give the spot to Melty, because we had originally told them like, this is the team that you have to beat in order to qualify for this. So the decision that I have to make is, do I just give the spot to Melty because G2 doesn't exist anymore?
Wasn't there supposed wasn't there supposed to be an event this weekend? I mean, there's supposed to be.
Yeah, it was supposed to be G2 versus Melty as the fourth place spot for Europe. But since G2 is disbanded, then they're not going to be playing anymore. The spot either goes immediately to Melty because of that, or I say, okay, now you have to qualify against someone like Quake Fortress. But
Yeah.
Not entirely sure that that's fair because their original plan was it's between you and G2. So if G2 doesn't exist anymore, then it's just you, right?
No,
Yeah,
I mean,
is tricky. That's a tricky.
yeah.
No, she's right. It's tricky to be in.
Yeah.
I would
like if we
personally
had
say have them
originally,
play against Quake
it's
Fortress.
like if we had originally placed the top teams and top 5 teams in Europe as IDQ, Melty, or IDQD, Reunited, Flat Earth, G2, and Melty, but we weren't sure which was 4th or 5th. It's like, okay, if G2 is gone, then that automatically puts Melty in the 4th place spot.
At the same time, though, Quake Fortress has beaten Melty like almost every time the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean we've seen. I mean that's
it's tricky to be in.
Yeah, it's definitely a tricky situation.
Wait, what do you mean G2 has beaten Melty? You say G2 has beaten Melty?
No,
Quake Fortress has beaten Melty multiple times the past couple of weeks. Like I haven't seen Melty beat Quake Fortress yet. So
that's what I'm saying. Is it fair to say? Is it
Mm.
fair to say when we sent out the invites to the team to participate in this tournament, it was G2 and Melty for 4th place? Is it fair now to say that just because another team has popped up after we already sent the invite to those teams to say, okay, even though this team isn't going to qualify anymore, you still have to try and beat this team now?
I think it's I think with a lot of events though, Shayed, it's very common to have alternate situations. You know what I mean? So if it's not G2, there's a backup team, a team that's number 6 or whatever will fill in, and that's pretty common because in the end it's about the event, right? Like if you have two matches that lead up to the big event, then you should try to fill this last event. Is it a little bit, I wouldn't say unfair or just like,
I mean, it definitely
weird,
helps create the hype for it, like having more content, but I want to think about it from a player's perspective.
Right.
From a player perspective, it's not fair for me to say you originally were supposed to compete against this team in order to get the 4th place spot, but now that team is gone, like, oh, now we're just going to replace that team, and now you have to be this team.
I guess it just depends on how, I guess it was phrased and with whatever agreement and whatnot that you guys have with the teams. But, okay, I think either way it's probably fine, but it would be cool to see.
It's obviously good to do it for more content. But
yeah, it would suck to
from
not have anything this
just
weekend.
The players, I don't want to like upset anyone by saying like, oh, you were supposed to play G2, but because they're gone, we're just going to give you somebody else to try and beat now.
I mean, they don't get prize money for just making the tournament, right? You have to still finish.
No, but
like,
it's kind
really
of a big
high.
deal to be able to qualify for it to begin with. So.
Yeah. Okay, sure. All right, and let's see. If we don't, I guess it's going to be the actual the main event will be 2 weeks, or not this weekend, but next weekend.
Yeah, April 9th and 10th.
Yeah, April 9th and 10th. Okay, awesome.
Is it though?
What?
Is it still though?
Yep.
I don't know. I just haven't had anything to say the past couple of
God,
minutes, so.
Well, we did have a little bit of a scare where we weren't sure if it was actually going to be the 9th and the 10th for a second, like yesterday, but...
Yesterday? That's like, wow, it's pretty soon.
Well, like, we found out that the ONOG channel might be, like, being used on that day.
Oh, I see.
We were worried that we might have to change it.
Okay.
It all worked out, and we're going to be there on the 9th and the 10th.
So then we can sidecast again? Oh.
Wait, you're not sidecasting?
Is this literally the first time you've heard about this? No, we're not doing it.
Wow, we're talking about this on air here?
Really? Fish is dealing with the casting stuff.
Wow, okay.
Nope. We're not casting at all.
Oh.
That's definitely too bad.
I should message you about that after.
All right, well, definitely check out the ONOG tournament. It's going to be, like she said, the biggest tournament the biggest prize pool for a tournament to date. I also wanted to plug one tournament just from guys that I know from the StarCraft 2 community, Base Trade TV, just Rifkin and Zombie Grub. They're going to be doing their first Overwatch tournament. It's a $510 prize pool. It's going to be called Only Watch. I don't know if it should be plugging if it's called Only Watch, but they're going to be doing it on Thursday, so the 7th. So lead up to the one on the ONOG tournament. Definitely try and check that out too. These guys are huge from the standpoint of they've done a lot of great community content and tournaments, and even casted side streams as well as some of the bigger streams for DreamHacks and things like that too. So always been a big supporter of these guys, particularly in the StarCraft community, and hopefully we'll see some of them in the Overwatch community too. All right, let's do some questions. Do we have any? I haven't even been looking. Let's see. If you have any questions, put them in chat too. Jason and Shayed, why don't you guys check out chat to see if there's any good questions that pop up too.
Jason, why are you so handsome? I don't know.
You're so
It just
stupid.
I got it from my mama.
God for your mom. Yeah, any questions you guys have, please tweet at ChanManV or at the OverView GG, and we'll try to get it to you. Brian Doyle as apparently a new Overwatch patch just hit. You consider doing your show after patch day rather than before. Man, if we could actually do this show on a different day, I would, but we can't. It's impossible.
Was there actually a patch that just
Is there actually one? Let me see.
No, it was like you should do it tomorrow after the patches come out instead of the day before.
Oh, because patches generally come out on Tuesdays.
Yeah, they always come out like literally an hour or two after the show.
It's Wednesday for me, bro.
No, it's Wednesday. Oh, it's my bad. Tuesday in the U.S. Literally an hour or 2 hours. I think it was like an hour and a half after the show last week.
Yeah, it was really fast.
It's
after
ridiculous.
The last show, I remember.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
It wasn't that big of a patch. It was just like new map plus Zenyatta nerfs, but
that's kind of a big patch. What do you mean? I thought that was a sizable patch.
I mean, we spent like 2 minutes talking about Route 66.
Yeah, but we talked about achievements. We talked about play of the game. We talked about we took an hour to talk about the patch, so it was a pretty sizable one.
Okay, maybe it was a big patch.
Just not one balance wise. There wasn't much change balance wise. Okay, well, I guess there's no questions. I don't see any. You guys see any in chat? If not, then we can just skip it today. Let's see.
I wish we talked about May a little bit today, just so I could rage at her a little more. On Solis' video, I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's hilarious.
My God, that was amazing. So good.
Which one? Wait, who? On Sol?
Mm-hmm.
On Solus?
Oh, on Solus. Yeah, on Solus. Yeah.
It's not actually ice. It's Smurf blood.
It's pureed Smurfs.
That's true. May is, oh man, that's ridiculous. Do you guys think, okay, Blitz Kaiser asked, do you guys think this game needs more maps before release?
Oh god, I know what Shade's gonna say. No, not new maps, new heroes, like support heroes. Am I right, Shade?
No, this is only about maps. So, do you think we'll have more maps, or do you think they need more maps before? Did we see Route 66 much yet? Wait, we didn't see that many people play Route 66.
I wish they would include new maps in the rotation a little bit more. I feel like I get Route 66 like once a day.
Yeah.
I stream like 5 or 6 hours.
That's crazy.
So the fact that I only see it once is like.
I've played it 3 times total.
I
know it is fun.
I wish, I hope that they make more maps for different modes based off the original map. So Numbani's a payload map with a capture point. I want to see them make a King of the Hill map for Numbani, set in the same kind of area, the same kind of like urban environment, but
Why?
it's capture, or it's not capture point. Why not? They have all these They have all these settings. Why not do it? Why not?
No, I mean, it's like,
are
you like hinting that you'd like to see some of these possibly replaced? Just with
no. But you have Volskaya, it's a capture point, so why not make a Volskaya payload as well? It's set in the same scene, but not that part of the map. And you have like a Volskaya King of the Hill as well, or Control, and have like 3 maps, one of each mode for each main area. Like a Hollywood with the Control would be sick. Well, I eventually you run out of like themes for maps, I feel like. Unless they just really want to go super in depth in the lore.
World. How do you run out of stuff like for that?
Well, because if you have any sandy deserty place, Temple of Anubis. If you have like any Asian, like Chinese,
it's about art
place,
efficiency too.
It's like Lijiang.
I mean, it'd be much more efficient with their art too. Like they could they could reuse it like 3 or 4 times, right? That's a smart idea. Smart idea.
I would like a mode that combines. I think Tis just said this in chat. I would like a mode that combines King of the Hill with payload, where you fight with the other team for the capture point instead of just like defending the capture point or attacking the capture point. I would like it where both teams have the opportunity to capture the payload, and then based off of that, you're then split off into attacking and defending teams.
So it's kind of like tug of war-ish, or kind of like that, right?
If your team, you have like the King of the Hill or Koth mentality, where it's like, okay, you have to hold the point for 100%, but then after that 100%, that's when you unlock the payload.
It moves the direction.
And then at that point, you become the attacking team, and your enemy team becomes the defending team.
It's like tug of war then. Yeah, I've always been an advocate. I thought the new format type was going to be tug of war when they came out with King of the Hill. So I'm all for that. I actually like that idea too. They still have to. The only problem with Tug of War is that I think spawn spots might be an issue with that, and the length of the map too. I feel like the length of the map needs to be a little bit longer, I think, for Tug of War. Otherwise, the matches would be pretty short. Okay, so what is the real... Oh, there's a lot of questions about G2. Let's see, what is the real status of G2? Is it just numlocked and Nox right now, or is it actually disbanded? Do you guys know?
Not really fair to comment on
as far
that.
as
I don't know. It's like... let's see.
I mean, one of their players literally said in the Overwatch Discord that they're disbanded, so...
Okay. So they just confirmed a random map selection for King of the Hill maps. Do you think this will matter in competitive?
Wait, what?
Random map? What? Is that? No, that must not be right. I'm just looking at these questions that are coming in. They said they just confirmed Blizzard a random Blizzard a random map selection for King of the Hill maps. Do you think this will matter in competitive? I don't quite understand that.
I don't understand that question.
I do wish we could filter out what maps we want to play. I mean, there's probably not enough players for us to be able to do that and have matchmaking, or at least wait times be decent.
I would like to be able to uncheck maps that I don't want to play.
Yeah, that too. That's kind of what I was
God
getting
damn,
at.
I played Hanamura 7 times today. Get me out.
I play on it more probably the most too. There's something about that map I just keep landing on. Okay, well, I think that's going to be it for today. Next week, guys, be sure to tweet them so that we can have them kind of going into this segment. But let's wrap up the show. Jason's always great to have you. He's kind of like our sub-host at this point, but maybe we'll talk about having you on just like more regularly, because it's so fun to have you troll Shayed every week, single week. Shayed probably.
At the end of the day, Jason's one of my favorite people, and I
wish I
to
could
troll
say
him
the same.
because it's fun. Shut up! Don't make me regret saying that. I think Jason's one of the best casters at Overwatch, and
definitely.
I hope that I get to see you cast more.
Oh, thanks, Shayed.
Like she's like showering you with kindness, man.
I know.
That's how you beat trollers, guys. That is the way you counter trollers.
Well, if Zovia wasn't watching right now, I might say something different. Shayed, you're awesome.
You're awesome. All right,
congratulations on Luminosity.
Oh yeah, that's true. We forgot to mention that. I was gonna wait until the shout out for that, but yeah, definitely congratulations to the Luminosity and the Mix Up group.
Thank you.
To be fair,
yeah.
I've always heard good things about Luminosity as an organization. Mm-hmm. They always take care of their players, so that's actually a good pick up for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're amazing. We're all really happy.
All right, Jason, shout outs.
I'm gonna do the same as last week. Shouts to my parents for letting me live the dream, even in the roughest time.
Nice.
Shouts to ESL for giving me the opportunity to work with Overwatch. Shouts to Mitch, my casting partner, and more. For
and
Overwatch.
And more. Wow. Okay.
We already talked about the butt stuff. You can't go back.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm not gonna go into it. Shout out to Blizzard and especially Zovia for always being there, able to be talk to, and ChanManV for having me on the show. And Vainless, of course. He's looking for a team. He's always looking for a team. Someone get him a team.
Famous. He just told you to plug him right there. Awesome. All right, Shayed. Let's see this professional plug. We got to hear it.
I need to take a breath.
I ripped apart Minstrel last time, so be careful.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna say thank you to Luminosity in general, sponsors included, because we're super happy. I think everyone on the team was like an immediate decision, an immediate yes when we were approached by them. Everyone's really, really happy with how things have gone so far. It's kind of like the perfect org for us. So thank you to Luminosity for making that a thing. Thank you, ChanManV, for giving me this opportunity every week. I love talking to you and to Jason and to Fishsticks when he's here. Fishsticks, we miss you. Please come back. Really, though.
He's in chat right now.
I mean,
Jason called Zovia out, so Zovia, if you're actually listening, you're amazing, and I love talking to you. So thank you for being an awesome community manager for Overwatch. Yeah, I think that's it. My stream peoples that hang out during the show, I love you. Yeah.
All right, and I will thank you guys too, Jason and Shayed, for doing the show and for being here. Actually, 2 weeks in a row, Jason. I really appreciate that. And this week was more of
No problem.
kind of a last minute. So always have a lot of fun. Just definitely great episodes with you, Shayed, of course, being my co-host, and hopefully Fishsticks will be back too soon. And I'll continue the Zovia plug too. So Zovia is. We're lucky to have Zovia as our community manager in Overwatch.
She's all right.
I've known her since StarCraft, and we've been lucky in StarCraft because StarCraft has had a string, like a series of people kind of come through there as community managers, and they've all been wonderful people. And Zovia is one of those people. So when I found out she was moving over to Overwatch and leading the thing, it's really amazing that we have her, and she knows us really well. That's a great thing. Like she spends the time and really gets to know everybody in the community, whether it's casters, players, people like me, show hosts, and it really understands everything. So really great, and I'm excited to get a chance to work with her here too, because I was kind of sad when I stopped doing StarCraft stuff, and I probably wouldn't get a chance to work with her anymore. Anyways, hopefully we've got some news about the show, or at least I guess that's going to be pretty epic soon. I can't give you specifics quite yet, but in the month of April, we're going to have a pretty
I'm related to him.
Related to you?
Do I sometimes get
Related to
with
you?
him?
I don't know about that.
Wait,
But,
you mean you're not the director of Overwatch? Oh
Is it-
my god, I've been telling
No.
everyone to tweet you for beta invites.
I
Yeah,
shaved my
oh my
goatee. I'm no longer.
But
Oh,
hopefully
I guess that's
something
one
epic's
thing
going to be
we could
happening
talk
in
about.
April. So definitely tune
Sorry.
into the overview and follow the overview at GG on Twitter just for any specific news there. You can follow all of us on Twitter here at ChanManV, at JKaplan, at Shayed OW, and VODs will be on YouTube, youtube.com/ChanManV. So until next week, for Jason Kaplan, Shayed, and myself, ChanManV, we will see you next week. Later.